ministry has taken now will help us to do things differently. So welcome and thank you so much for joining what we have called the Policy and Practice Forum 2023. You will see the way we have titled it. It says it's inclusive and affordable water and sanitation solutions for a climate resilient world. And what we are really here to do is to understand the paradigm shift that the global South is leading, which will help the rest of the world also understand how can sewage management become both sustainable but also affordable. So welcome, and the floor is yours to inaugurate this meeting, and we are looking forward to hearing you.
Thank you very much, Sunita ji. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunita ji. It's more important from my point of view, from my personal point of view, from the point of view of the work that my ministry is doing, for me to be present and for us to gain valuable insights from your work. So let me start by expressing my personal sense of regret that I'm not with you physically. I would have preferred that, but without blaming my
just 1 minute, Hardeep ji. Just 1 minute. Sorry, there's an echo. I think we have too many systems working. Just give us 1 minute. We are trying to be extra sophisticated here. I think it's the live streaming which is creating a problem. Can we switch off the live streaming, please? We were also streaming this live, Hardeep ji, because there's been a lot of interest in this. So there's too many systems working here. So please forgive me. I think we're just switching off the live streaming. Can we switch off the live streaming quickly, people? Done? Please go ahead. Hardeep ji, we will bear.
Thank you very much.
We know you're very short of time.
No, thank you very much. I was just saying that I would have very much preferred to be with you personally. And I'm not blaming my colleagues who drop my program, but they also have a difficult task. But I'm somehow between the work and the political engagements these days, a little pressed for time. So let me start by saying thank you very much, Sunita ji, for having me. I'm told that the Director General of the National Mission for Clean Ganga, Shri G. Ashok Kumar ji, has joined us. The Principal Secretary, Housing and Urban Development of Government of Orissa. Thank you all very much. Esteemed dignitaries, researchers, representatives, and practitioners from international organizations and civil society and friends, I'm delighted to be invited to the inaugural session of the Policy and Practice Forum 2023. Let me start by expressing my deep appreciation for the Center for Science and Environment, CSE, for setting up this unique forum to discuss and disseminate best practices around inclusive and affordable water and sanitation solutions. I'm also glad to see that this has received such enthusiastic participation from practitioners, researchers, and innovators across the industry. Discourse around water and sanitation has assumed greater significance in the last few years. 2023 marked the first major conference of the UN dedicated to water since 1977, when the last time a major UN-level conference was held on the subject of water. Recently, governments, communities, and organizations across the world have been collaborating to find solutions to the water crisis by augmenting and artificially creating water sources, reviving aquifer systems and replenishing groundwater reserves, undertaking water conservation programs, treating and reusing wastewater, and sharing best practices and management methods, and developing norms and standards. The world has, I believe, finally woken up. These efforts are a consequence of the increased water use and depleting water resources across the globe, which have led to a scarcity that has alarmed governments and people alike. It is often said that the next world war will be fought over water. I remember, I believe it was a former World Bank Vice President, Dr. Ismail Serageldin, in 1995, who had first enunciated this fear when he said, if the wars of this century were fought over oil, the wars of the next century will be fought over water, unless we change our approach to managing this precious and vital resource. As water surpasses oil as the world's scarcest critical resource, the UN estimates that 2/3 of the global population will live in water-scarce areas by 2025, and around 700 million people could be at risk of displacement by water scarcity by 2030, the same year in which the world is expected to meet the Sustainable Development Goal targets. Before I proceed with my prepared script, Sunita ji, let me share with you that at this point of time, I have the privilege of being associated both with water-related issues as part of the Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry, and with issues relating to energy in the petroleum and natural gas sector as part of my other charge. The crucial difference between the two, I think, is something which is not very often discussed, but I think needs more discussion. As far as crude oil is concerned, or other forms of energy are concerned, we have a very well laid out plan for green transition. What I mean is that given the kind of efforts which are being made to develop and increase the use of biofuels like ethanol, we had a target of 10% biofuels mixing by 2022 November. We achieved that 5 months in advance. We had a target of 20% biofuel blending by 2030. We are bringing it back to 2025. If you look at our plans on compressed biogas, CNG, PNG, if you look at what we are doing in the area of green hydrogen, there is a transition plan, and we will get there. Maybe not as fast as we like, but in the case of water, I don't think we have a choice. I mean, water is therefore that much more precious, and its scarcity should alarm us just that much more. And I commend the efforts of people like yourselves, leaders in this field, who are not only mobilizing intellectual opinion, but also taking that discourse into public policy action. So once again, thank you very much. Now I want to come back to my prepared script. Climate change, and this is all about that, will further aggravate water-related conflicts as increasing global temperature cause more water to evaporate, changing the water cycle. Clearly, the situation requires urgent action. While treaties might resolve political conflicts around water, they will not tackle the need to fundamentally alter the way we extract, consume, and dispose of water, as well as the way we plan and manage sanitation systems. Till very recently, it was far too exploitative and inequitable. The water crisis facing the country was not due to a lack of water, but primarily from the mismanagement of water resources. Vulnerable sections of society, in particular low-income groups and women and children, bore the brunt of this inequality. Historically, they were denied access to basic water and sanitation facilities, even as water utilization, groundwater depletion, and sanitation management reached new lows with rapid urbanization and changing consumption patterns. This needed to change, and that has changed in India since 2014. The Modi government's flagship programs, the Swachh Bharat Mission, Urban, SBM2, and the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, Amrut, have played a transformational role in upgrading basic water and sanitation infrastructure in the country's urban areas. The Swachh Bharat Mission, Grameen, SBMG, and the Jal Jeevan Mission, among other programs, have had an equally catalytic effect on India's rural areas. Before 2014, a shameful 38% of India was ODF. In a mere 5 years, India became entirely open defecation free. More than 73 lakh toilets were built in urban areas. We increased the waste processing capacity of urban areas from 17% to 2014 to 74% today. Today, 3,547 cities are ODF plus, and 1,191 have achieved ODF plus status. 14 cities today are water plus. They are safely managing their black and gray water and also reusing the treated wastewater. We are now targeting to go from an ODF India to a garbage-free India under the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0, which was launched on 1st October 2021 to ensure complete, solid and liquid waste management in our cities, create a single-use plastic-free nation, and promote the benefits of circular economy in our value chains, formalize informal sector workers, and upskill our sanitation workforce. The Amrut mission has been equally successful. It has provided 1.38 crore water tap connections and 1.05 crore sewer connections. This has reduced hardships faced by women and enhanced environmental and health benefits. With the rapid pace of urbanization, we recognized that a lot more remained to be done. In particular, the need to secure water resources. So Amrut 2.0 was launched to realize the aspiration of making all our cities water secure. Water is fundamental to all our needs. Through Amrut 2.0, India is committed to promoting a circular economy of water, which will help in the achievement of India's SDGs targets, as well as our climate change commitments. Amrut 2.0 will provide 100% coverage of water supply to all households in 4,700 urban local bodies through 2.68 crore tap connection and 100% coverage of sewage and septage in 500 cities through 2.64 crore sewer connection. This will benefit more than 10.5 crore people in urban areas. Under the mission, treated wastewater will cater to 20% of total water needs of the cities and 40% of industrial demand. The mission will promote the circular economy of water through formulation of city water balance plans for each city. I'm very happy to inform you that 4,862 cities have already made or submitted their plans to the ministry since the launch of the mission and are enacting policies to meet those submissions. The Modi government accepts that there is no one-size-fits-all approach that will work in a geography as diverse as India's. There is increased political will to tackle pollution at its source and to treat wastewater to mitigate the costly impact of pollution and to increase availability of water resources. Even as it scales up Amrit 2.0, the government is also considering decentralized wastewater management approaches. There is a need to have a combination of approaches: sewage treatment plants, STPs, effluent treatment plants, ETPs, and decentralized wastewater, solid waste treatment systems, which will treat the domestic and industrial waste before entering the water body, thus ensuring less pollution. Communities across cities are coming up with innovative solutions themselves to fulfill circular economy objectives. Local approaches are reducing the capital and resource intensity of the water supply and sanitation systems, which in turn have led to increased access and sustainability. Even the government is building circular economy from the bottom up. All new government construction are now compliant with the best sustainability metrics for built environment. I was happy to inaugurate a few government housing complexes in East Kidwai Nagar and Tyagaraj Nagar in Delhi recently that had features such as 100% solar power generation, energy efficient fittings, 100% waste treated water, rainwater harvesting, and source segregation and management of solid waste. This is an exciting time for the water and sanitation space in India, not just in policy, but also in practice. There are as many solutions coming from the field as there are that are being suggested by experts and policymakers. An unimaginable amount of progress has been made in a very short period of time. A lot still needs to be done. Our cities are faced with new problems of inclusion and affordability every day with regards to water and sanitation infrastructure. These are important problems and require deliberative consultation and practical solution. I want to put 5 problems to you that I believe are the most critical and hope that your discussions over the next 3 days can spark fresh insight. 1, there is a need, especially in Indian cities, to maximize freshwater resources and optimize transportation, distribution, and input losses. Number 2, groundwater depletion is a serious threat to India's water security and structural soundness of India's built environment. Leading metropolitan cities such as Delhi have seen almost a 4-meter decline in groundwater levels. How can we revive groundwater levels given the current urban morphology? Number 3, Indian cities need better wastewater quality and more robust means to prevent groundwater contamination. India is currently at the bottom of 122 countries in the water quality index at 120, with nearly 70% of water sources contaminated. Indian cities need digitally advanced tools to monitor, evaluate, and course correct and sewage functions in real time. Can we devise institutional governance mechanisms that give ownership to local communities to manage their water assets? Amrut 2.0 and SBMU 2.0 have initiated the process at a national level to plan deliberately for reuse and recycling. It is the job of such forums, if I may submit, such as this one, to integrate local insights, pilot projects, and best practices into the governmental framework to strengthen outcomes. I urge all of you to use this forum to its fullest potential. I hope that it will help us ideate, exchange, and collaborate on both the policy front and the practice front to improve India's water security and quality, as well as strengthen management and operations for water conservation and reuse efforts. I look forward to the ensuing deliberations and once again wish you all the very best for the Policy and Practice Forum 2023. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Hardeep ji, I was muted. We had a little bit of a technical glitch, so we had closed all the systems down. So thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I hope you could hear me.
Yes, we could. Very loud
Right,
and very clear.
Because Sunita, you and I go back a very long way, and I don't mind saying it publicly. You're one of the few people, not you, but there's some whom I hold in the highest respect. And it's my deep respect. And I was very, very unhappy that I could not come physically, but it's beyond factors, beyond my control. So
No,
I actually prepared for this. So I'd have been very sorry if the system glitch meant that I was speaking to myself. But thank you.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
We switched off everything. We heard you very loud and clear, and a very strong message we've got from you.
Thank you.
Very clear message that there are main challenges that we as a group have to now discuss and come back to you with some answers, because we need to make sure that we're on this journey together. But thank you so much for taking your precious time to be with us. It's really a privilege to have you.
Thank you. I want to conclude by just 2 comments, Sunita ji.
Yes.
One, this need was anticipated by the Prime Minister, and I think one of the more Well, he's taken very important, good decision, but the setting up of the Jal Jeevan ministry, Jal Jeevan mission was one thing. So the rural part of it. Secondly, if you look at the perspective, the kind of allocations which have been made for the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 and Amrut 2.0, it together comes to 4,71,000 crores. Few years ago when you and I discussed public policy in different contexts before I joined the government, could anyone have imagined that an amount as large as 4,71,000 crores has been put in? But the government can only provide the ecosystem, the government can only provide the resources. But I think one of those points of mine, we look to you to get us the insights from local communities and others, and with your this thing, and I promise to sit down with you after this session to see how we can tweak our policies. I see some of my colleagues from the different missions with you, but thank you very much for indulging me, especially on the time. But that is because I have less control on the other programs, and I think my old relationship with you helps me set these impossible things that I can only come at 10 o'clock. So thank you very much.
We are thrilled to have you. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And again, a big hand for the minister. Thank you.